What is going on, everybody? Well, here in America, we all know what's going on. It's all over the news. It's all over newspapers, TV, everywhere, radio, podcasts. Everywhere you turn, people are talking about what's going on with DOGE and Trump and Musk and the cuts that are being made. And a lot of people are celebrating what is happening. A lot of people are decrying it. And I just felt like, even though it's not exactly been the main stuff that I've been talking about since I started this channel, I have to kind of at least express my perspective on all of this, because I find this incredibly frustrating. I understand people who themselves have lost their jobs because they work for the federal government, or who know people who have lost their jobs, or who are up in arms about federal government employees who have lost their jobs. They have families, they have kids, they have bills to pay. That sucks, no doubt. It sucks anytime someone loses their job. However, what blows my mind is the people who are expressing their displeasure over these firings. They talk about how it affects the people being fired and how it's Trump's fault or it's Musk's fault. And I'm sorry, but that's not the heart of it. It is horrible for those people, no doubt. But the heart and soul of it is that for decades, the federal government has been throwing our money, the money that we as taxpayers pay to the federal government for the administration of our country. They have been throwing that money by the billions and trillions out the window. That is, to me, the heart and soul of this problem. And for those who say, well, these heartless, it's Trump's fault, it's DOGE's fault, it's Musk's fault. It's not. Every federal employee that has been fired should be blaming the federal government's decisions for the last 20 years to throw away our money in other countries and on programs that serve no purpose. And just for decades, the Government Accountability Office said that over the last 20 years, $2 to $3 trillion have been lost in improper payments. Now, what is an improper payment? I have no idea. It's such a uselessly vague term, it almost is, it's ridiculous. But $2 to $3 trillion, in the last 20 years have been, excuse my language, have been pissed away on who knows what. Literally no one knows. They even said, this is the Government Accountability Office. This is not DOGE. This is not Trump. This is not Musk. This is a long-standing government institution. Said in financial year 2023, $236 billion with a B were spent on improper payments. And looking at the Government Accountability Office website, 74% of those were overpayments. 19% of those, and this is a number, good Lord Almighty, that I can't wrap my head around. 19% of those were unknown payments. It's just, nobody knows. Literally, they don't know where it went. That is $44.6 billion. $1 billion in 1 year of your taxpayer money, my taxpayer money, your taxpayer money, that just, sorry, don't know where it went. Ha, our bad. You, me, whether you're a white heterosexual plumber in Des Moines, Iowa, or you're a whatever your identity is, if you're a taxpayer in this country, if you lament the fact that you can't afford things that you feel you should be able to afford, if you are a taxpayer in this country, whatever your race, whatever your gender, whatever your identity, whether you're tall, short, black, white, brown, whatever your race, your money has been stolen from you and thrown away by a federal government that just doesn't care. So that, to me, is the fundamental problem of this. However you identify, the one identity we all share in America is we're all taxpayers. So whatever identity you have, you and me share the fact that we are taxpayers. And what this is saying is that for this must go back to before World War II, but at least in the last 20 years, trillions of dollars have been spent on nonsense, on vapor. And in the last year, in 2023, $44.6 billion of our money, you and me, was thrown into a hole, and no one knows where it went. And if you look at the details of some of these projects that money has been spent on in the millions and billions in just a year, it's your money, it's my money, it's our money. It is money that the government has taken from Americans, money that we pay in taxes for the purpose of running our country, has been thrown out the window to other countries, to all sorts of offbeat, who knows what kinds of projects. And let's also point out the fact that when $46 million gets put into some bizarre off-the-wall program in some foreign country, how much of that money do you think actually goes to the people that are named as the intended recipients of that money? Probably pennies on the dollar. $5 out of the 50 million, $10 out of the 30 billion ends up in the hands of someone who actually desperately needs it. Come on, man. It's corruption on the most systemic root level. So yes, I feel bad that people have lost their jobs. That sucks, and it's terrifying for them. I am sure of that. But they worked for a government that has wasted our money for decades. Wasted our money to the tune of trillions of dollars. And in this country, right now, what is one of the biggest things we talk about? Homelessness problems, drug problems, communities that don't have proper infrastructure. I don't mind paying my taxes when I feel like my taxes are being used to make my country better. Why doesn't that bother you? Or if it does bother you, why doesn't that bother all of those people out there that are crying tears for these cut programs? And oh my gosh, we're not going to be able to send $50 million to a foreign country somewhere to create some program that no one has actually ever thought of or heard of or cared about. Especially when 99% of that money probably doesn't even get to the people it's supposed to help. That's the problem. If you are a person who is raging against this reduction in the federal workforce, that is where I am coming from, and I think a lot of Americans are coming at it from that same perspective. We don't mind paying taxes if it's making our country better. But we are angry. We are furious that our money is being thrown away and given over to people who are putting it in their pockets. Non-governmental organizations, private foundations. Come on. You can't think that this money's actually going where it's supposed to be. That is my rant for today. How does all of this tie into family and all the other stuff? Well, just like you, the taxes I pay to the government is money I don't have to spend on my children. Thankfully, I'm able to absorb that cost and still provide beautifully for my family. But there are a lot of people out there that can't. I'm not saying this for me. Dear God, don't feel bad for me. I'm good. But there are a lot of people out there that every penny they spend on a tax, and I am talking sales tax and state tax and city taxes and municipal taxes and government taxes and IRS taxes, every penny they spend on those taxes is, surely you feel this too. However you feel about what DOGE is doing, surely you hate the fact that the money you spend on taxes is money you don't have to put towards your children's education, or your children's summer programs, or your children's by God investment for their future, or their college fund, or your new car or vacation with your family. It's your money. You earned it. And the government comes along and just takes it and then throws it away. Hands it over to people and countries and organizations that you don't know anything about. And those organizations and those people in those countries do not work for the benefit of America. In large measure, I'm sure some do. Some tiny percentage. But how about if we cut out all of this waste and graft and grift and excess? How about if we're able to cut out some big chunk of that and still do better by you as a taxpayer and by Americans and by American organizations that would benefit our country if they got that money? Let's focus on that. So that is my rant, and that is my general perspective on what has been going on with DOGE and the reduction in the federal government and all of that. I had to get that off my chest. It's been building for a while now, so I would actually really love if you have an opposing viewpoint, if you have a different perspective on this. Let me know. Talk to me in the comments. Let's hash this out as Americans, or you don't have to be an American to express your opinion, but obviously we're the ones most directly affected. But let me know what you think of this. Let me know what your perspective is. But it boils down to this for me. It's your money that you made. It's my money that I earned. It's not the federal government's money, but they took it. And they took it on the premise that it was going to be used to benefit us. It was going to be used to make our country better, and it's not. It is not being used for that purpose. So I'm done. I'm sick. I'm fed up with it. So let me know your thoughts. If I'm wrong on this, tell me how. Because I don't see it. So more to come. We'll talk soon. Thanks.